In high school, my friend Arthur started this game called Awkward Questions. The rules were simple. You had to ask your teacher the most uncomfortable but technically appropriate question possible. Points based on how flustered they got. It started innocent. Mrs. Williams, do you think Romeo was taking advantage of Juliet? 5 points for her nervous laugh. Mr. Davis, why do we study the Great Depression when we're living through one? 10 points for his visible confusion. But Arthur was competitive. He kept pushing boundaries, hunting for that perfect question that would break a teacher completely. His target was Mr. Wayne, our AP chemistry teacher. Guy was unshakable, 30 years of experience, seen every teenage trick in the book. Arthur spent weeks researching, looking for the perfect chemistry-related question that would crack him. Then he found it. I found out later that Arthur had been digging through old local newspaper archives for weeks. He'd found a 10-year-old obituary for Bruce Wayne, age 16, died from accidental chemical poisoning. Arthur connected the dots. Same last name as our teacher, same small town. He'd found Mr. Wayne's deceased brother. During class, Arthur raised his hand with that evil grin we all knew meant trouble. Mr. Wayne, I was reading about chemical compounds last night. Is it true that when you mix household bleach with ammonia, it creates chloramine gas? Mr. Wayne froze. Why would you ask that, Arthur? Arthur leaned back in his chair, savoring the moment. Just curious about the chemical reaction. You know, for educational purposes. The teacher's face went white. Arthur, I need you to stay after class. We thought Arthur had finally won the game. Mr. Wayne looked genuinely shaken. After class, Arthur was practically bouncing with excitement. This was his masterpiece. Mr. Wayne locked the door and sat down heavily. Arthur, where did you learn about that specific reaction? Just some research I found online, Arthur said, barely containing his smirk. That's when Mr. Wayne broke down crying, and Arthur started smiling. You know about Bruce, don't you? Arthur's smile faded. He hadn't expected this reaction. Mr. Wayne's younger brother had passed away from exactly that chemical mixture. The family tragedy destroyed his parents' marriage and sent his mom into severe depression. Mr. Wayne became a chemistry teacher specifically to educate kids about chemical safety, so no other family would go through what his did. Arthur had deliberately weaponized the teacher's worst trauma for points in a game. He reported Arthur to the principal for psychological harassment and requested a transfer to another school district. Within a week, the story spread. Parents heard about a student psychologically torturing a teacher about his deceased brother. Word spread fast. Parents found out a student had deliberately targeted a teacher's family tragedy for a game. Arthur got expelled. Not suspended, expelled. His college applications were destroyed. Every university rescinded their offers when they learned what he'd done. Mr. Wayne had a complete mental breakdown the next day. 28 years of teaching, and Arthur's calculated cruelty shattered everything he'd built to cope with his deceased brother. He started having panic attacks in class, couldn't sleep, kept seeing his dead brother's face in every student. The school had to call paramedics twice when he collapsed. His wife found him 3 weeks later talking to his brother's photo, planning a chemistry lesson for him. He was admitted to a psychiatric facility. He's still there. Arthur's parents sent him to military school in another state. His dad was so ashamed he wouldn't even drive him there. The worst part? Arthur's younger sister goes to our school now. She gets bullied constantly because everyone knows what her brother did. Kids call her Psycho Arthur's sister and avoid sitting near her. She had to switch lunch periods because someone put a fake obituary in her locker with her name on it, saying she passed away from accidental chemical poisoning by her brother, all because Arthur thought targeting a teacher's dead brother would be hilarious. The game ended that day. None of us could stomach it anymore. Arthur had won, but he destroyed everything in the process.